winner and a Scottish international. Now he has the task of leading City back into the Championship in his third job as manager. Here's Jonathan Blake.
It was a moment that took East Anglia football rivalry to new heights.
The lads at Colchester sitting at the top of the league at the minute, but this is a huge football club.
And in Colchester, tangible shock at losing the man who's taken the U's to the top of the table and presided over that amazing 7-1 victory over Norwich.
Disgusted by it. It's, every time we see him do well, you know, get a good manager.
I can't believe it. Can't believe it. I'm very disappointed.
God knows who we're going to get in now after all of this, so hopefully it'll be someone good, really.
The reaction in Colchester understandable, and a rapid turn of events for Paul Lambert, now Norwich's new manager. He only found out about City's interest just hours after Colchester's win over Yeovil on Saturday.
I'm here and I'm absolutely delighted to be here. You look around and it's a phenomenal challenge, phenomenal fan base. As I said at the time when Colchester won here, and the expectancy level's high, but it's something you thrive on.
And Lambert was just the sort of person Norwich were after, despite the ironic twist.
Ability clearly was important. Experience was also important. He's an experienced manager now, having worked for a number of clubs. Experience in itself, though, doesn't mean a lot without a good track record, and his track record is very sound indeed.
Lambert's appointment, however, wasn't straightforward. Colchester initially turned down City's request to appoint him without an interview. And with compensation yet to be finalised, the U's are still smarting about how things have panned out, despite giving their permission to Norwich to speak to Lambert.
It was an odd thing to do, but the way Norwich do carry out their business is up to them. They're a massive club, and perhaps though it's not the way we'll be appointing our next manager, we still wish them all the best and wish Paul all the best in what he's going to do.
Disappointment in Colchester, but encouragement among the Norwich fans preparing to go to Brentford today, even though much wasn't known about their new boss.
It's a good choice, but we need someone with more experience in League One with the club in League One at the moment.
He pulled Colchester round, which they were in dire trouble. I don't see no trouble why he shouldn't bring this lot round.
At least we look as though we're going forward now. I've nothing against Brian Gunn personally, but I just don't think he was the man for the job.
Question is, how much longer will Ian Butterworth and Ian Crook be at Norwich after they take charge at Brentford tonight? Only time will tell, but Lambert will be there watching from the stands before his job officially starts tomorrow. Jonathan Blake, Anglia News, Norwich.
Well, Donny joins us now from the newsroom. Donny, what's been the reaction of both sets of fans to today's news?
Well, plenty on the message boards in both Norwich and Colchester today. One question on the Pink and Web forum in Norwich got responses like these: good young manager, good record with no cash. Another poster suggests the board are naive if they've appointed a manager on the strength of 2 results. And a third one, first appointment since Nigel Worthington, which has the feel of permanence. As for comments on the Colchester Gazette message board, one bitter fan says, same old thing, big boy wants, big boy gets. A more positive one, top of the league, playing good football, let's keep the spirit and hunger up. Another, sadly, what goes around comes around. Loyalty seems to be a thing of the past. So varied views among both sets of clubs, and it'll be interesting to see what Paul Lambert does if he raids his old club to try and strengthen his new club at Norwich.
Indeed, Donny, thank you very much for now. And it's a busy night for all our region's clubs, including Norwich. As Donovan mentioned, Paul Lambert will be watching from the stands as the Canaries travel to Brentford. Colchester, still league leaders, remember, begin life without Lambert at home to Gillingham. MK Dons go to Tranmere, and Southend are also away at Wycombe. And in League 2, Northampton head north to Accrington Stanley.
Well, news from the Championship, and Ipswich Town have revealed plans to rename a stand at Portman Road after Sir Bobby Robson. The North Stand will be dedicated to Sir Bobby, who died last month. A ceremony will be held on the 26th of September before Town's match against Newcastle, another of the clubs he managed.
And both Ipswich and Peterborough are at home tonight. Peterborough boss Darren Ferguson has another tough challenge against one of the promotion favourites, West Brom. While Roy Keane's Ipswich, like Peterborough, still searching for their first league win, are at home to Crystal Palace. And with Neil Warnock in charge, Keane knows the South Londoners won't be a soft touch.
Neil has his teams playing a certain way, and it's very difficult to break down, as I found out as a manager at Sunderland. So that we know what to expect again. But it's up to us to try and break that down, and just as important, it's up to us to make sure we don't concede, because again,
they'll be very good in terms of set pieces and getting the balls in the box, and you know, it's going to be a tough game.
I expect West Brom to be around there at the end of the season, so we know it's going to be a difficult game, but like I said, after Saturday, I'm just repeating myself, we put a little bit more clinical in both boxes and we get the performance, and I'm sure we'll give them a game.
Finally, it was the murder of a policeman that shocked a community. Today, exactly a century on, the incident was remembered at a special memorial service.
PC Charles Alger was the first and remains the only Norfolk policeman killed while on duty, shot at point-blank range after going to sort out a domestic dispute. Natalie Gray has the story.
3 generations of one family come to pay their respects to their brave ancestor. None of them knew him, but his story has been proudly passed down amongst them.
We recall the devastating circumstances of his death in responding to a domestic incident which left his wife and 4 children, husband and fatherless.
PC Charles Alger was murdered 100 years ago today. He's buried in Galston Cemetery, where his headstone shows an angel cradling the head of a fallen police officer.
PC Alger had been called to a violent disturbance here in St Andrews Road in Galston. Thomas Allen, a rat catcher, petty thief and poacher, had already shot his wife in the back. PC Alger tried to calm him down. Instead, Allen killed him at close range with a sawn-off shotgun.
The Eastern Daily Press recorded the terrible crime. He was only 37 and left 4 children under the age of 10. Thousands lined the streets for his funeral. Thomas Allen was found guilty of murder and sentenced to death. But he was reprieved on appeal, declared insane, and spent the rest of his days in Broadmoor and Rampton.
I found it very moving, and I'm really glad I came.
Doctor, what was the story that was handed down to you about what happened to your grandfather?
Well, that he was a hero and that he'd been shot doing his duty.
Today, retired and serving police officers paid their respects, and fittingly, the police helicopter circled above. Is it a case for many serving officers that there, but the grace of God go I, really?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we do have a lot of safety around our officers now. They have a lot of personal protection equipment, but you can't legislate, or you can't. Situations like this that PC Alger found himself into, luckily, are extremely rare. But you don't know that until you get there.
It was a brutal crime, and one that Norfolk police want remembered. Every day officers risk their lives by going into dangerous situations. Natalie Gray, Anglia News, Galston in Norfolk.